Hey, Heart of the Canyons, Pastor Doug here. During this past year, we've had a number of people in our church working on a project to help us move towards becoming a better church. This project was broken down into 3 major goals, and we had dedicated teams focused on each of those goals. I'm not going to tell you about what they did, but in a few moments you'll hear from the goal team leaders filling you in on what their teams accomplished. Before I turn this over to them, I'd like to give you a little perspective on why we started this process and what we were planning to achieve. For those of you who participated this last year, this will be a brief refresher. For others of you, this may be new information. In either case, we want to make sure you are part of what Heart of the Canyons is doing. In the summer of 2020, our pastoral and board leadership felt strongly that we needed some help. Heart of the Canyons had gone from being 1 location to 3. Our plan all along was always to be one church in multiple locations, but we had to learn a lot of new things to get there successfully. We were introduced to Audia Consulting, and they were the right partner to help us on this journey toward unity as a church. We began a relationship with them in the fall, and they did an incredible job leading us through a process of self-discovery. Let me give a brief explanation of what the role of a consultant is. They're not brought in to take control. They come in, learn about the issues involved, make recommendations, and help with implementing the course of action that is chosen by the existing leadership. They don't tell someone what to do. They bring outside expertise and perspective to help leadership see better ways to get the job done. That is exactly what Audia and their team did with us. 3 overarching objectives came out of our work with Audia and have guided the whole project. The first is clarity. How do we truly become one church when we have multiple campuses, each led by a campus pastor? And how do we maintain a strong family resemblance and yet reflect the unique characteristics of the communities in which we minister, all while reflecting the same vision and values? Keeping a focus on clarity is essential in moving Heart of the Canyons forward. Number 2 is alignment. Operationally, we all need to be moving in the same direction in order to be effective. We need structures that promote unity while allowing each campus to reflect the personality of their community. It's impossible to be one church if we go in 3 separate directions. And third, engagement. Heart of the Canyons must be focused on doing the ministry God has called us to do, which goes beyond just Sunday mornings. In order to do that, we need each and every member of the Heart of the Canyons family actively engaged in doing their part. And that means we need to train and disciple at all levels in order to prepare our people for service. After going through the process of discovering what you, our congregation, felt we should work on, we arrived at 3 one-year goals. They were, number 1, the vision of Heart of the Canyons is understood and can be articulated by the majority of participants. Number 2, a new organizational structure is operational. And number 3, the children's ministry is relaunched. Now, these teams have completed their work, and we are underway with implementing the things that they arrived at. This is not the end of this process, it's the beginning of the future of Heart of the Canyons as we implement these things and they become part of our culture. So now what I'm going to do is turn this over to each of our goal team leaders and let them tell you about what their teams did. At the end of this video, there will also be a link to go to the webpage to see the entire video, and I can give you that link now as well. It is www.heartofthecanyons.com/oneheart, ONEHEART. That will take you to the landing page for this whole project, and it will give you the history of what we've done plus this final wrap-up. Again, thank you for being part of Heart of the Canyons, and we are excited to move forward into this next stage of growth at our church. God bless you all.
Hey, Heart of the Canyons. Obviously, I'm Pastor Jim. It's Jeremy Davis, and Jeremy has been the chair of our Gold Team number 1. I appreciate all you've done. I really do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what we've been doing over the last year, what our goal was?
It's been a fun thing to work on and be a small part of, but everyone remembers about a year ago, under interesting circumstances no less, we all gathered and got together, broke up into various teams and really got together under the leadership of the audio group and tried to work through various facets and strategies to kind of rebuild organizationally not only how our single church works, but how all three churches are going to work together as one unified organization and church family. So our team was tasked with taking our mission statement and looking at how we're really going to implement that into the church body. And that touched all the different organizations within the church, from the website to all the literature, as well as beginning every single service with our mission statement so that when everybody comes to visit us at church, they know what we're all about.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And again, obviously, because we've all had three different histories, we thought it was important for us all to come together on that same mission statement. And while we're all different to some degree, because our demographics would be different, we all live to know and love Christ and love to serve others, love and serve others. I think that's the way it goes. But anyway, it's been an interesting journey. I think we had a lot of work on the front end and probably not quite as much in the end. Of course,
Yep.
You were instrumental in helping us, kind of motivating our pastors to put together a series.
Yeah, so when we met as the various groups at the very kind of genesis of all of this, we compiled, 120, 50 note cards of sort of different ideas and ways that we can implement the mission statement. And one of the big kind of things that everybody wanted to see was like, the statement's great, but biblically, how does that work? So you guys were really quick to activate against that and put together a whole series against our mission statement, really giving people the biblical insight on kind of why we're saying what we're saying.
Yeah, well, moving forward, obviously, we can't just do this for a year and then think it's going to stay. There's transition in churches and changes. What are some things we've put in place that you think will help us keep this at the forefront of what we're doing as a church as we move forward?
Well, I think the outline we put together is great. So again, the little things of, I think everybody in the church all should know our statement by now. You're seeing it pretty much in every element of the church, whether it's the website, the bulletins. We still have some work to do. I think that there's a lot of, how do we implement it into the small groups? How do we make it real for people, not just something that we say at church and leave like we unfortunately do with a lot of things. So over the course of the next year, I think it's going to be great as we challenge the church family to like, hey, you're aware of our mission statement. How do you make it real for you? And I think there's going to be a lot of great ways, whether it's the new children's ministry, whether it's the small groups, and as we kind of get the structure of the church back to kind of what it was before all this interesting stuff, how do we take this and really get it out in the community so people really know it and live it?
Well, the mission statement's important because your mission statement tells you what to do. It also tells you what not to do. I think we get distracted by every other idea and opinion that's out there. And this mission statement, again, we live to know and love Christ and love and serve others. It pretty much covers all of our purposes. And that's not something we came up with. That's actually in your Bible.
Sure.
So, we feel very confident. And as I've said before, man, this mission statement means a lot to me because if you can think of anything else to do with your life, then you ought to do it. In the end, I don't know of anything more important for me than living to know and love Christ and then using what I know and love of Christ to love and serve other people. If we do that, it would be great. Well, thank you, man, for your service. Thank the team for all they did. And I hope you're going to see more and more of this in the future as we find many different ways and ways to keep this in front of our people as we move ahead. So thanks, man. Appreciate
thanks.
all your time.
Hello, Heart of the Canyons. My name is Mike Hawley, and we were in charge, Tim and I were in charge of major group number 2. The primary focus of that group was to implement a new organizational structure for Heart of the Canyons. We basically started after our big event at the Newhall campus, and we organized the group. We got a group together, great people from all 3 campuses.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, wonderful. We had incredible people. And it took us a little while to get going with the holidays and then with to make sure we had our ducks in a row. But once we did, We got started in earnest around February. We met every 2 weeks for the rest of the year until last month. It was awesome. We could depend on these guys meeting, and we did good work. So every month we focused on something new around the organizational structure of Heart of the Canyons, and we accomplished a lot. So you may not see it from a person at each campus, but if you're in ministry and if you're a volunteer at the church or you're a pastor, what we did definitely has affected those people, and hopefully to help our church become more efficient and more organized. And but the good news is that we really didn't change the essential part of who we are. All we did was take what we did well, and we kept it, and the things that we could do better, we made adjustments. And we basically, if I were to summarize, I would say that what we did is we made the language of ministry, of how we did ministry and how we organized ministry at Heart of the Canyons, we're speaking the same language.
It's pretty amazing. We were able to, by God's grace, the goal was to create a new organizational structure to support one church in multiple locations. And what is very unique about the structure that was built by this team is its purpose-driven structure.
Yes.
Is that our church is driven so that our 5+ purposes, which you'll be hearing more about in the coming months, is what drives ministry at all of our campuses. And so it's one flow, one movement, and that we're able to support the ongoing ministry by being purpose-driven, and the outflow of that is happening at every campus. It's really, really quite amazing. So thank you again, team, for that. Thank you, church, for allowing us the privilege to work with and redeveloping and building this organizational structure, tongue twister there, so that we can be mobilized to live and move on mission and ministry for the glory of God.
Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Leslie Caldwell. I was the facilitator for our goal number 3. Goal number 3 was the children ministry relaunch. Our ultimate goal was just to help get the children's ministry back off the ground after everything with COVID and all the changes that were going on with the church. So I loved working with the team. They did a great job. We had a group of people who were working on leadership. They were working on the whole structure of the children's ministry from top all the way down to those who were day-to-day Sunday helping out. We also had another team working on curriculum. The curriculum team was really looking through what is it that we want our curriculum to have, what are the standards that we have for our curriculum, what is really going to help our children learn about God and be able to go out into the world and share what they've learned about God with others. So we had a curriculum team kind of come up with standards, and then also look through different curriculums to decide what would be best. Our last team was the volunteer team. Children's ministry would be nothing without volunteers, and so we realized that we really needed to focus on what do we need to do to make sure that our volunteers have what they need, how can we equip them, how can we train them, and what is it that we can do to help get people excited about being volunteers in children's ministry. So that was what we did. We were able to come together with structure, we were able to come together with curriculum, and we were able to come together with our volunteer program. I'm really excited to see everything that we've done rolled out. I think that the children really are the future of Heart of the Canyons. I think no matter what campus you're at or where you are in the body, I think children are so important. So I'm really excited about all the work that the children's ministry goal team did and seeing how it plays out.